Hello guys, yesterday I was working, well actually it was a couple of weeks ago for you guys, but the last video I recorded it yesterday, but I was working on this John Deere, was it 6920S? Yeah, 6920S. We sorted out the servos, so today what I'm going to do is sort out all the rest of the wiring, and I'm going to start with inside this bit of the chassis here. Well, inside the bottom of this we need to connect the ground and the positive for these two servos and let the signal wires out. I'll put the ground wire up through the hole at the front here too, and then try and connect the positive for the battery terminal in here and bring that wire up. So I'll need 4 or 5 wires going up. Then there'll be the wires for the motor as well, the drive motor. Once I have all that done, I'll screw it all back together and we'll pretty much be back where we were when I had to dismantle it. If anything interesting happens while I'm wiring this together, I'll record that, but I don't think anything is actually going to happen, so I'll just skip through the wiring and not do it in front of the camera because it's pretty hard soldering in front of this lens. Well, I think that's as tidy as I'm going to get it. I connected all the ground wires for the servos and for the lights in the bonnet. I've connected all the positive voltage wires for the servos, and I've left a wire here for the battery, which is going to the switch, and then a wire here that will go to the microcontroller. So I think that's about as tidy as I can do that. Next thing I'll have to do is just squeeze in the motor in here, push the wires through, put these things back on, and bolt that together, and I think that is everything in the bottom of the model finished. So then I'll have to well, start figuring out really how I'm going to do the top, but hopefully now that I've reduced the amount of wires, it should be pretty straightforward. I'm ready to start wiring these things now. So the Arduino is going to be mounted inside the tractor like this. Then the radio module is going to come down like this, letting the antenna stick out here where it can radiate, and the motor driver will just be down here somewhere. So I'm going to mount all those in place now. Well, I've soldered everything together. You can see we have the radio module soldered onto our Arduino, and underneath we have the motor driver and our battery. Now that's about as tidy I think as I'm going to get it, and it's a hell of a lot tidier than my previous attempt had been with the 2 motor drivers. There was just way too many wires in that, and this is just going to all sit in here, something like that. I am going to leave the antenna and the part of the radio module sticking up there. It is pretty obvious, but there'll be a good signal, so I'm not too bothered about that really. I think that's the tidiest I'll get that without having to wire it into the cab or something. Well, here it is wired into the tractor. I have pretty much everything except the indicators and the brake lights wired. I need to get a resistor for those now and figure out what I'm going to do. I did have it there for a little drive. I just uploaded the code for the John Deere, and the motor is reversed, or the motor wires are reversed. So when I push forward it goes backwards, and push reverse it goes forwards. And also I mixed up the wires for the steering servo and the lifting arm servo, and obviously none of that matters because all you have to do is change 2 numbers in the code. Like reverse the motor pins in the code, no problem. Reverse the 2 servo pins in the code, no problem. Less than 10 seconds work to fix that. So I'll just figure out what the resistor is now, sort out these wires, that's it. Well, here it is, all wired in. This is the wire that's going to come out through the back for charging and for connecting to trailers. I'm going to add a ground wire that will plug in here into this socket, and a communications wire for the trailer that will also plug in here. And that's the last things that I need to add to the tractor. So I think it's all come in there quite nice and tidy. I can put this thing down here, should fit in alright. Oh, let the wire through. Okay, so that comes up like that. Zoom out. So that comes up like that. Then put the cab on, screw that in place, and that's how my tractor is going to look. So I have a bit of a thing sticking up at the back there, but I think that is barely noticeable, and I've already tried it out and the communication seems perfect, so I'm not going to touch the radio. That is the way it's going to stay. I like that I'm able to just plug the connector in there for the UART or for the FTDI cable and program it from there. So I think that's all very handy. The next thing I have to do is sort out the code, make it properly, because I just uploaded the code from the John Deere 9560R, and like I said, I have a couple of the wires backwards. I just need to fix that. Well, here it is, kind of set up. It's not perfected yet, but I have it driving and steering. Don't mind the buzzing. That is the servo for the lifting arms, because that's not set, so it's kind of hard over. But the steering circle on this thing is unbelievable. The Massey is just rubbish compared to this. Like on my scenery that I have built, the Massey can barely get around it, and this thing is just cruising round. Like, I was driving around with this on the back and this on the front, and it was flying round corners that the Massey can barely get around with nothing. So the turning circle is just unbelievable. It's easily the best turning tractor that I have. But I don't have time to sort out the code tonight, so I'm going to leave this video here. I might do a follow-up video where I take a look at the code, but I don't think there's anything to really see there. It's kind of going to be the same as all the other code, so probably next time you see this video it'll just be doing something. So maybe I'll actually it'll probably be a video from the Castleblaney show. That's probably when you're next going to see this video, or actually when this airs, this video that you're watching, it could be after the show, so I don't know, you'll just have to see what happens. I don't really know. So anyway, if you have any comments or suggestions about this build, let me know in the forum or below the video, and don't forget to hit the like button if you like the build. And I think that's pretty much everything, so thanks very much for watching.